All right, y'all. Just when you thought Hollywood cannot get any more satanic, somehow, I don't know how they do it, but they figure out a way to one up themselves. And this is the perfect example of conditioning and programming that we are seeing ramp up in the direction of the demonic. Like, you understand television programming. There's a reason why they call it that. They're programming you. They're programming our children in order to believe in whatever it is that they want our children or us to believe. But it's easier to do this with children because they're young, they're impressionable, they're a lot more naive, right? But with adults, we're pretty much stuck in our ways for the most part. You're not really going to sway us all too much. I mean, you still can, but it's going to take a lot more deception in order to sway adults. With children, it's a lot easier. Now, this movie with Jack Black, he's playing Satan, and it's supposed to be a family movie, a family Christmas movie. And I just find it very interesting, the description of how the directors talk about the reason why they casted Jack Black to play Satan. And I think it's very telling to the true nature of the enemy and why he's doing what he's doing so out in the open right now. All right, let me play this video. This is just an interview. I can't play the full trailer, but y'all can go watch that if you want to. But I thought this interview was very telling as to the spirits behind this film. Come on, let's go.
For Dumb and Dumber, there's Something About Mary. There's so many great movies, and now adding to that list is Dear Santa. It's a great holiday movie for the whole family. So, Bobby, I'll let you do the honors. Tell us what Dear Santa is all about.
Well, it's about a young boy who's he writes a letter to Santa Claus. He's not a very good speller, and he accidentally writes Dear Satan on it. And guess what? Jack Black gets the letter, and he's like, oh my God, I never get letters from kids, and our story progresses.
It's the easiest pitch ever, by the way. It's like Snakes on a Plane. And as soon as we heard it, we're like, yeah, we'll do that.
It's so inventive, it's so creative, and obviously you're both reuniting with Jack Black after the Shallow Hal success more than 20 years later. He seems just tailor-made for this role. Peter, what is it about this that knew Jack Black had to be the guy?
Because this is like kind of like it's a funny Satan, sort of the way, Damn Yankees had a funny Satan. And you need somebody who's innately likable and not threatening. And Jack Black is that. He's kind of similar to how he was in School of Rock, where he's like...
He said you need somebody innately likable and not threatening to play Satan. I wonder why that is. I wonder why you have a film being marketed towards families where you portray Satan as likable, non-threatening. It's the same thing. You remember that whole After School Satan program, which they're still doing, After School Satan, depending on, the school districts and where you live and whatnot. But that was the whole push for the After School Satan program, was the fact that, number one, people have freedom of religion, and you can't necessarily discriminate a religious group from being able to hold after school programs for children. And then number two is the fact that they're trying to say that Satan is misunderstood, that he's really a good guy. He was just misunderstood. And God couldn't see the greatness within him. And they're trying to let people know who Satan really is, which is this likable guy, non-threatening, non-harmful, just all fun and games, right? It's so crazy, man. You got to be very mindful of the times that we're living in right now in society. And you have to ask yourself, how come the enemy is so comfortable just being out in the open, clearly mocking God? How come we've seen this ramp up at a scale, at a level that we've never seen before? You just think about all the examples in culture, in media, all the different examples of blasphemy, of mockery. This dude is getting really, really comfortable. Something's up. We living in some dark times. Some might even say some end times, because this is wild.
Little edgy to the kids, but he's also appealing to adults, both. It doesn't work without him, and it's probably the first time we ever got the first person we offered a role to. Everybody passes on us, and then we get someone good.
Yeah,
that's crazy. He said everybody passed, but then for some reason Jack Black wanted to be a part of this. Hmm.
Was our first pick, and he was the right pick.
Yeah.
Absolutely the right pick. I've seen the movie. He's just so great in this role. And he's obviously starring alongside this young actor, Robert Timothy Smith. How is the casting going for this? Because obviously he's kind of an unknown, but he's going to be a big star in the making when this comes out, when more movies of his come out. Peter, what was that like getting him cast in this role?
This kid, like, he was just one of those kids. Like, he was a find. Like, there's sometimes you can't even make a movie if you don't have the right person, and that kid was the right person. He reminds me of a young Albert Brooks. His delivery. He's got like a very sheepish kind of like, self-aware. Like, why am I talking to me this way? It's a sophisticated delivery for a little kid and very funny.
Yeah, he's very intelligent too. We did a very wide casting search for this, this actor, and we looked at a lot of kids, a lot of talented kids. But Robert Timothy stood out. He checked all the boxes for me. But the main one was he's really likable. And so you really care for him. You get on his team right away, and that's a big part of our stories. You got to really like this kid.
We're so right that he's so likable. Also likable in the role are the supporting cast: Keegan-Michael Key, Brian Howie, who we know from Ginny and Georgia. What is that?
Are y'all? I already told my daughter. I was like, "Yo, Santa Claus is not real." I don't know how many of y'all still in that game, but that's a crazy world to live in. I told her, "Yo, it's fake. It ain't real. It ain't real." And so many people want to get crazy, and they want to call Christmas a pagan holiday, and they want to debate, and they want to say, well, where does it say that this is Jesus's birthday? And I agree with you. There's no confirmation that this is Jesus's birthday. But the fact of the matter is, it's a season that we can use to our advantage in order to preach the gospel. And I think that's the perspective that we have to have when it comes to this. A lot of people get so caught up of like, why are you celebrating pagan holidays and participating in pagan rituals and all this type of stuff? And then you bring up the verses about trees and Christmas trees. Like, I forget what verse it is in the Old Testament. I forget what it is. I forget. But it's like, dog, listen, we can use this season to our advantage to preach the gospel. We can use this season to point people towards Jesus Christ. And it makes it easier for us to have those conversations, especially for those of you who may struggle to, have those conversations. Well, now you have a reason to bring it up. When somebody asks you your opinion about Christmas, when somebody says, what are you doing? Now you can talk about Jesus. Now you can talk about it, and you can bring it up, and you can potentially evangelize so many people, non-believers, and point them towards Jesus Christ. And I don't think it's a coincidence that they're making this movie to try to hijack some of that. That's just what I think.
Bobby, getting these people in your movie as well, because it's a good movie if you have these kind of actors assembling for it.
Yeah, Brienne was a big help. She plays the mom in it, and she's a really good actress, and she plays alongside Hayes MacArthur. And the two of them, I totally believed them as being the parents, and it was really important that you did believe them in these roles. And bringing in Keegan, he's fantastic, and when he comes on set, he has great ideas about how to, whatever you've written for him, he has great ideas about how to make it even better, and he never lets you down. And he's, again, that guy, you like him and you want to watch him, and you just couldn't get enough of him.
Well, Keegan's he's one of the top, for the last 10 years.
Absolutely.
So there's a scene in the movie, when you watch the preview, they just showed it when the kid was laying on the pile of money. There's a scene in the movie where it looks like Satan offers to the kid to sell his soul in order for riches and fame and fortune. And I don't know if the kid took it or not, or I don't know if he was just showing him a glimpse of what it could be if he took the offer. It's just so many things in this movie that are very interesting. And I don't know what type of parents are taking their children to see this movie. I don't understand what would be the benefit to take your child to see this movie. But then again, if you're even considering taking your child to see this movie, then we've got much deeper spiritual problems that we need to address. So
we got to do more with Keegan.
Yeah.
Play more with Keegan. Also, probably one of the funniest moments in the movie, it's not much of a spoiler because it's in the trailer, but I don't want to give too much away about it, is Post Malone. Like, come on, there's a concert that you guys get to shoot at. He has a role in the movie. What is that, Bobby? What is that like, getting to be with Post Malone and at his concert and then making that a storyline in the movie?
Well, you know, I don't get starstruck easily because we deal with a lot of stars, but not from his world, not the music world. So when we got Post, I was very excited. I was like, oh my God, you know, Post, he's big time. When he came, it was so much fun, and he really like he gave us a lot. He worked so hard, and we had so much fun with him. It was just he had the perfect song for the role, and it was a joy. It took about 3 days to do his scene, and man, was it fun. It was really the highlight of the whole shoot.
And he was very gracious. He didn't show up with attitude. He came in like, hey, you know, this isn't my world normally. How do I do it right? And he was very cool.
And he's a good actor. He really is. He had to, you know, he plays himself, but that's not easy to
No.
play yourself because you're like, wait a minute, what do I do?
Yeah.
What do I do? You don't think about it. You just are yourself. But he had to deliver these, you know, lines playing himself, and boy, he was good.
Certainly right about that. Dear Santa comes out November 25th on Paramount Plus, also on digital, wherever you can find it. Thank you both.
Once again, I wonder, what is it rated? I'm wondering what it's rated. Let me see. Dear Santa. Oh, it's PG-13. They're saying it's fun for the whole family, though, but yet it's PG-13. I never viewed PG-13 as being a family friendly type of rating, but you know what I'm saying? I guess things are changing. This world be changing everything. What's next? They're gonna say R is family friendly, and then they're gonna say, look, the mature is just for the adults, but the R is family friendly, and then it's gonna, bruh, it just keeps changing and changing and changing and changing. Anyway, let me know what y'all think about this movie. Get in my comments, like this video. I'm out.